Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recapping my round 6 game that I played in the World Open. Going to this game, I was at 3.5 out of 5, and the 6th round I'm playing a 2371 rated player. And if you don't know who Alice Lee is, she actually won many junior tournaments and is one of the top rated females in the country. So this is going to be a very tough challenge. I already knew I had my work cut out for me, that I was most likely going to lose. But 3.5 out of 5 without any losses, I was even surprising myself at the moment. So maybe I stood more of a chance than I thought. Anyways, I started off the game with e4. She played c5, and I had 3 knight c6. And it's kind of unfortunate. This is exactly what I play against, well, anyone else if they played e4. So it kind of felt a little bit weird, but nevertheless, I just went on with the game, played d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5. All of this are the regular moves. Bishop g5. After a6, knight a3, b5. I then go knight d5. You could also take the knight, but I decide to just go knight d5, bishop b7, trade, and I go c3, castles, knight c2, and now this move bishop e6, which I've actually never seen before, and it's the first time I'm playing with it. I was already thinking here for a little bit of time. I don't know how much, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. And I eventually settled knight ce3, and my first instinct was just go knight ce3, defend the knight on d5. But I just had to make sure knight takes f6 wasn't just blundering a pawn, because after bishop e6, knight f6, after queen f6, having the bishop on e6, it does not allow the queen to defend anymore on d6 if I do take the bishop. So I can actually just take this pawn, but after rook ac8, it's a very dangerous position, so I could see why she went for it. Like, my queen could be very easily attacked here in this d6 square with something like rook fd8, and my king isn't castled yet, so a lot of problems. After bishop e6, I went knight c3, she goes bishop g5, bishop e2, knight e7, castles, and g6. And already the position's kind of equal. Maybe I have a slight advantage here. And I just go queen d3, developing my queen, trying to go rook f1, maybe put some pressure on d6 in the future, getting rid of this knight, getting my knight out of the way. The computer suggests a4 as a bit of a better move, just opening up the queen side, and probably I would do this had with the help of the eval bar. I probably would do this after something like b takes a4, rook a4, a5. I do like my chances here after maybe something like b4, getting a early passed pawn, but the position is still fine for black. So after queen d3, she goes queen b8 with the idea of putting her queen on b7 to try and put pressure on my knight, combined with ideas like f5 weakening my knight. So I go g3 with potential h4 or f4 ideas. She trades off a pair of knights before going queen b7. And after rook a d1, she now goes f5. And here, this is already a very tough position. I had no idea what I was going to do here. And I immediately saw f4. I just thought f4 was just calling my name. The point is, after e takes f4, I thought I could actually go knight takes f4. After bishop c4, I could go queen takes d6. This is actually what I calculated. I thought this is just going to be totally fine for me. But I guess after something like queen e4, it isn't. Or maybe something like bishop e2 and then queen e4, then black's totally fine. But I saw this and I thought, okay, I could just go for this point. You might be thinking about bishop takes f4, just undermining my bishop, but I can actually take this with check. After bc4, rook f4, this is a totally fine position for white. But for some reason I just do not go knight takes f4 anymore, because for some reason actually that tactic I showed you, I just completely missed bishop takes c4, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to take with the pawn, and I thought my position was still totally fine. I could just go bishop f3, but actually I just missed that she could actually take this pawn on e4. After queen e4, she could actually take my knight, and now with a series of trades, she actually just wins my pawn. And now I'm thinking, oh my god, you're 24 moves in, and you already embarrassed yourself being down a pawn with the white pieces. What are you doing? But I also knew with opposite colored bishops, I maybe have a chance to hold this. I knew black was definitely better and is going to push for the win, but it's not completely winning for her just yet. So I go bishop f3, she goes rook a8, and I bring my king up, she also brings her king up. And now I go bishop d1, and this is basically just me waiting around and trying to set up a fortress and see what she's going to do. She goes rook e4, and I go rook d4. I think at that moment, I thought it would be better for me to trade off rooks, and she's actually forced to take. If she moves the rook away, then this bishop will be hanging. And after takes, I thought I maybe had good chances because now we're sort of in a pin. It's not, you might be thinking it's not really a pin. After bishop e3, I was totally fine with trading off the rooks and doing something like d5. And after I bring my king to e4, this is a dead draw position. So after c takes d4, she had to do something with the pin. I thought she may just go g5 and then move the rook out of the way. In that case, I would have gone bishop g4. And I liked my chances to try and hold here. But she ends up going rook f5 instead. I guess maybe to try to get out of the pin via rook g5 check. Or maybe she's just gonna move the bishop anyway. But I just went bishop g4. And she goes back to f6, and now I go d5. And this is one of the moments I miss here to try to get a better chance to draw the game. I first saw this idea of b4, and I immediately liked it with the idea of cementing both these pawns in light squares, so now my bishop can attack them. And I thought after bishop c8, well, I'm doing totally fine. But after d5, I sort of scared myself out of the b4 idea because I thought after d5 that this is defended, and she can actually maybe get a rook down to the second rank and maybe win all my pawns. So I thought instead I could go d5 first. I could just go d5, and then so I could cut off this like third rank, and then maybe an idea like b4. But now she goes bishop d2, stopping that idea or completely. But she actually didn't stop the idea because I could actually still go b4. And well, first of all, you might be thinking, why can't I just trade rooks? Once I bring my king to the center, she can actually bring her king. And this position is just really dangerous. I don't think it's holdable because there are weaknesses on like the king side she could exploit by trying to get a passed pawn. And after something like bishop c1, I have to defend with b3, and she can actually maybe walk her king and win all my pawns. But I actually had this neat b4 idea. The point after take, not taking. Taking is rushing the position because she can still walk her king up. But, or rather, just go bishop c8, and after a5, bishop a6. And I like my chances here, especially getting this b pawn off the board. It would be harder to get a passed pawn on the queen side. And if I could just hold down the king side, I thought I should be pretty good. I think now I should be pretty good for a draw. But I didn't see that idea, so I just went h3, just trying to plant my bishop on e6 and just cement my bishop to protect everything. After a5, and I'll go rook f3, just keeping up the tension and just kind of waiting around to see what she's gonna do. She pushed this pawn, and now I go a4, which is not a very good move because now if I go b3, which is my idea to cement these pawns can actually be pretty weak if she gets a rook on the c file or this third rank and starts winning my pawns. But after a4, she goes bishop f4, so now removing any chances I have of trading, I go rook f2, just waiting around, and now she goes g5, and here I go bishop e6, stopping any sort of rook f7, because I saw once she went g5, she's probably trying to get to the c file now, so I want to beat her to the punch. But after bishop c1, I end up going rook c2, which is apparently a mistake according to the computer. The computer actually wants me to go b3 and go into the rooks and trade on rooks and go into this endgame, but I just didn't see myself holding this, especially now since it's very hard to guard my b3 pawn if the king just walks there, and if I just go and defend my queen side, he can actually run to the king side. But apparently, it's a draw if I just keep this position. And I don't know, from a distance it just looked very scary, and I thought I was just gonna lose. And I thought my best chance is just to keep the rooks and try and win both these pawns, or win one of these pawns. But now she goes bishop e3, rook c7, checking g6, and I immediately see, oh shoot, she's actually going to go rook f2, so I have to go back. Now after rook f4, rook e2, bishop d4, we hit time control, so I get the extra 30 minutes, and I know I'm screwed here. I know I'm losing because my pieces are way too passive. This bishop isn't doing anything but defense. My rook is very passive. Her rook is nicely guarded. Her bishop has nice scope on all these diagonals, especially targeting my b2 pawn. And I thought I was just gonna wait around while she slowly improves her position, which is what happens. She gets her rook to d4. I offer up the pawn. She goes rook d3. I give her a check, and then I go bishop b5 so that I can keep the king in the corner. Now she goes rook g3 check, and she correctly assesses that this is a winning endgame for her because she has this b passed pawn, and she's probably going to create a passed pawn here. After king f3, I'm trying to bring my king to the center, bishop d1, and she finds this nice idea of g4 check and h4, getting an extra passed pawn, getting the second weakness for me, and now it's just losing. I make a few more moves, and after bishop f6, I resign the game because there's no way of stopping her from getting her king to the queen side, just promoting the pawn. So anyways, after this game, I stood at 3.5 out of 6. This was a very tough game. Of course, the nerves didn't help me at all playing a 2371, and I just blundered this f4. Maybe after something like knight takes f4, I could survive. And actually, I did have a few chances of drawing the game had I just seen this b4 idea. Like, I got one chance, and then I got a second chance to do it here with b4. This is a little bit harder to see, of course, so I don't blame myself. But I had my chances, and then I blew it. But I didn't have too many expectations with this game, so I was happy that I was able to last like at least a little bit. So anyways, it's all for today. My next video will be my recap of the round 7 game, so be sure you go check that out sometime soon. And anyways, it's all for today, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Goodbye, everyone.